In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Merida Reacto 6000, a 4th generation Merida Reacto that I was able to gratefully loan off my friends at Advanced Traders, the Aussie distributor for Merida, so thanks to Merida for the loan. And please know that the Merida Reacto 6000 does not come stock with these wheels you can see right here. But we'll be discussing this setup in part 5, and the bike looks so much better. So for something a little different, I thought I would display it in this magnificent way for you in this review today. And look, I have got my hands on this Merida Reacto because we're going to be targeting a triple-headed review on the Tier 2 Aero road bike category, where the Merida Reacto 6000 will be going up against the Giant Propel Advance 1 and the Windspace T1500. The speed tests are already completed for that triple-headed review. Got some interesting numbers coming for you, so if you're interested to see that video and other independent road bike reviews like this one today, please don't forget to subscribe below, hit the bell to ensure you get notified on when those videos are released. But for this video today, we're going to focus specifically on the Merida Reacto 6000, and we're going to break this review into 5 parts. Part number 1, we're going to be talking about the reverse shit sandwich. Number 2, the numbers including weight and price. Number 3, geometry and design. Number 4, my riding experiences. And number 5, a must immediate upgrade, wrapping up with my rating system. So number 1, the reverse shit sandwich. So if you've ever heard of a shit sandwich before, it's normally used in the context of delivering some news or some feedback that isn't overly positive, and to soften the blow, you deliver something that's nice and pleasant at the start of the conversation, and then at the end, where you've got nice, bad, and nice being the shit sandwich. Now, in the case of what we're talking about today, we're not delivering news, we're talking about a product, and the shit sandwich is in reverse. We have a very average alloy Merida Expert CW handlebar, which is kind of confused between aero and your traditional shape. It does feel on the super cheap side as well. We also have an FSA alloy stem, which does an okay job of concealing cables into an internally routed system. A ridiculous inbuilt light, which doesn't even flash or work properly. Average Continental Grand Sport race tyres, super heavy Fulcrum Racing 800 alloy wheels, coming in at almost 2 kilograms. And Merida have even snuck in a Shimano 105 1130 cassette, not Ultegra like the rest of the bike. Although I do like my 105, it's just not quite at the Ultegra level. So external to the group set, this frame is surrounded by not the greatest, but the frame set itself is outstanding. This is the 4th generation Merida Reacto. Super engineered. To put that into perspective, Giant, with their Propel, they're only onto their 2nd generation bike. So this frame set has had a lot of attention, and it certainly rides that way too, and is a testament to Merida's focus on product engineering and design, which is all done out of Stuttgart in Germany. I mean, this is essentially the exact same frame as what the pros have been using and winning on in the most recent Tour de France. It's just a couple of 100 grams heavier. So keep that in mind. If you're going to invest in this bike, there might be some stripping and replacing that you do to really bring this frame set to life, which we're going to be talking about in sections 4 and 5. Part number 2 is weight and price. So this Merida Reacto Small, which is actually a medium in most other brands, comes in at a massive 9 kilograms, pretty much 9.1. That's with my speed play pedals and without this cool little Allen key set that you get with the bike, which does kind of make up for the light in the rear. So I didn't weigh it with this. I'd probably say that's 100 grams you can add to it. So I take that out personally when I'm riding with it. Price-wise, a Merida is quite remarkable considering some of the things you get. A borderline pro-level frame with Shimano Ultegra mostly for $4,200 AUD, which is circa $3,000 USD. Now keep in mind for that price point as well, you can purchase this bike through your local bike shop and be supported through your local bike shop, which I know is important for a lot of people out there. It's certainly important for me, assuming the bike shop is a good quality local bike shop. Now, the last thing I'll talk about on price is, it's my opinion that I think Merida might have gone too low. I don't know the market and what they're trying to target. They've done the analysis, they're smarter than me, and I'm just some dickhead YouTuber, but it's my opinion if we could just add maybe $1,000 AUD to the price point, we're going to make this bike a whole lot better, which we'll be discussing shortly. Part number 3 is geometry and design. On geometry, comparing the Merida to say the Giant Propel, the Cannondale System 6 and the Windspace T1500, for some benchmarking, some noticeable differences are in the wheelbase and the head tube. Now I know the head tube was made shorter on the 4th generation Merida Reacto to accommodate a longer fork to enable 30mm width tyres in both the front and the rear. In terms of wheelbase, it is longer, which is similar to the Windspace actually, which gives the Merida Reacto a less aggressive but a more planted sensation when cornering and descending. The overall design of the Merida Reacto frameset is what Merida call their NACA profile, which is essentially a teardrop profile that is truncated. The stays are more dropped on the Merida than any bike I've ridden, and the S-Flex seat post works in hand with the dropped seat stays to provide a soft riding sensation in the rear. Internally, inside the carbon fiber frame here, Merida used something called nano matrix technology, where the carbon fibers are bonded together with an epoxy resin with added nanoparticles, which is proposed to increase the Merida Reacto's impact resistance by 40%. So a strong frame. Now I can't complete this section without talking about Merida's disc cooling technology, which has been further integrated into the frameset when compared to its predecessor. Tests apparently show that temperatures are reduced by around 35% and cooling times are shortened with their technology. Although I do question, how many people actually need this technology unless you're a mountain goat constantly descending big hills and mountains. Part number 4 is my riding experiences. So when I first took this bike out, I was disappointed. It felt heavy and it felt sluggish. And at almost 9.1 kilograms, we don't need a degree in physics to understand why. Now I can appreciate the industry is going for more aerodynamic credentials over weight these days, but I feel like there comes a tipping point where the bike becomes too heavy, and that certainly felt the case with the Merida 6000 with the stock wheels. Up to speed, say over 40 kilometers per hour, the aerodynamics of the frame set start to take charge and diminish that sort of sluggish, heavy feeling that I was talking about. But you've got to keep in mind, how often are you riding at over 40 kilometers per hour? Not all the time, and certainly on steep inclines. The weight becomes a very noticeable disadvantage, but it is a disadvantage that can be resolved, which we'll be discussing shortly. One thing that Merida have done better than any other brand in the aero category, in my opinion, is getting the blend of stiffness and comfort dialed in almost perfectly. The S-Flex seat post isn't just a gimmick, and the super low seat stays enable more flex in the seat tube. It's not that you feel the bike flexing, but the Reacto does have a similar side effect to the BMC Team Machine, where sometimes you look down at your rear tyre because you think you've got a flat, but it's actually just the rear of the bike absorbing the road. In terms of handling, the Merida Reacto is once again one of the best that I have experienced in that aero category. Particularly descending at high speeds, the bike feels super solid and safe. No doubt the extra weight in the frame and longer wheelbase playing a factor there. Number 5, a must immediate upgrade, wrapping up with my rating system. So this is an extension of my riding experiences because upgrading the wheels on this bike to some 50mm carbon rims just made such a big difference. And I know upgrading wheels on any bike, particularly putting carbon wheels onto a bike from alloy wheels, makes a big difference, but the difference here was astronomical. First up, we shaved off some weight, 400 grams, pretty significant. Second up, the aerodynamic features of the frame set just came to life. It's not just getting up to speed, but it's an ability to hold and maintain top end speed for longer. That is really noticeable with the Merida Reacto 6000, and perhaps a reason why I PB'd a local segment called TT Like You Mean It at a 400 watt average on a low wind day recently. I'll also have some very interesting speed data coming for you in the triple headed review shortly. Now that side effect that I just described means that rolling turns in a bunch, the Reacto 6000 is a real pleasure, one of the best I have experienced. Aesthetically, in my opinion, it looks much better too. So if you're going to invest in this bike here, start saving your cash straight away so you can, as soon as possible, upgrade the wheels to some nice carbon hoops. I'd go with a 50mm profile because essentially, outside of maybe 200 grams in the frame set, average handlebar stem combo, which you can also upgrade later down the track, you've essentially got a pro level bike for about half the price. If you've gotten value out of this video today, please don't forget to give it a like. It really helps the channel out. I greatly appreciate it. And I will leave you with my rating system now. Just know that the Merida Reacto 6000 dipped out on speed because of the stock wheels that come with the bike. I'll catch you in the next video.
You and I, we go together like birds and the sky.